Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and today we're going to take a look at the Imou Cue version 2. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so today we're going to take a look at another indoor security camera. Now, the people actually at Imou reached out to me and asked me if I'd like to do a review of their cameras. But in actually researching what they do and what they're about, I actually managed to find this as a deal on Vpon, which I've mentioned to you guys before, where you can get 50% or more off of Amazon store products. And this was actually on offer on Vpon for less than £20, $19.99 including postage for Prime members, which I thought was absolutely fantastic, and I couldn't not get one at that price. £20 is fantastic. And being as they'd asked me to have a look into their products and possibly some collaboration in the future, I thought, well, why not? For £20, I don't mind putting my hand in my pocket and buying a camera to see what it's actually like and to see if it's worth getting involved with this company. Anyway, that's enough about what I'm doing. Let's talk about the camera itself. So as you can see, this is an indoor security camera. It's 1080p. It's a static camera, so it doesn't have any motorized pan, tilt or zoom. The zoom is in the app, but it's not a motorized one or anything like that. So literally it's kind of like stretch the picture with your fingers like you're used to. So no pan and tilt, it is a fixed camera. What it does have up its sleeve though is a bit of flexibility. Now we'll see that when I get it out of the box, but let's go through some of the specifications actually on the box. So it uses the H.265 compression method, so it's going to be less demanding on SD cards, so you're going to manage to get more data on a smaller card, more so than H.264 or other formats. It's 1080p Full HD. It's got human detection built into the app, so if a human walks past the camera, it will trigger it as an event and record it. If it's a non-human, like a fly or an insect or maybe a small animal, then that will not trigger the device. Now you've got complete control over this. You can choose to have that on or off. You can have alerts for anything that goes past the camera lens. Again, entirely up to you. You've also got the option for two-way talking, which is quite common on these kind of devices. So there is a speaker built in here and also a microphone. So if you want to have a two-way conversation via the app on your mobile phone or tablet, then you can do that. It also works day and night, which we'd expect at this kind of level of cameras these days. So there is night vision built into this using IR. It works on a Wi-Fi connection. It's also got a cloud service, which is optional, so you can subscribe to a cloud service if you wish. There is a micro SD card slot in there, which I find preferable, and also trying to keep costs down. Using your own SD card for storage and to review footage is obviously going to be more cost effective than subscribing to a cloud service. But if you want that double security and you want to have access to your security footage, if say for instance the camera may be stolen or damaged or the SD card removed, there is the option of retaining that information via the cloud. So that's the specs. Let's take it out of the box. So first of all, we get all our paperwork. So there is the quick start guide, which is in full color and very, very simple and straightforward. Tells you what you get, mounting plates and all that kind of stuff, but we'll go through that shortly. There's an imoulife.com little brochure there. So it says, congratulations, you are one of the first 100 buyers. Please send your order ID to service.vip.imoulife to get special offers now. Oh, didn't expect that. I never actually noticed that. I've already opened this and had a quick look at it and I didn't notice that before, so that's pretty cool. I'll be registering and getting some special offers hopefully. It says also, you speak, we listen. So how do you like it? Share your experience on Amazon so we can make things better. The top engagement could win a freebie. So there we go. They're trying to get some more comments on Amazon, and possibly you might get a free gift if you do that. More tips from IMU Global. You can get them on Facebook and on YouTube. All the information is in the leaflet. So we've got our regulatory information and privacy protection notices, all that kind of stuff. Also is a template in here. So that's a self-adhesive template which just peels off. So if you wanted to mount the camera onto a wall, then there is a template to get the screw holes lined up perfectly. Well, that's kind of nice. What else do we get in the box? So we get obviously the camera itself. Now the camera I think actually is quite cute, and in a room such as this it kind of does blend in quite well. I could quite easily kind of just leave it up there and it just blends into the background. It isn't very big. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments. I think it's pretty cute, pretty smart. So that is the camera, and let's have a look what else do we get in here. This hopefully should be the power brick. Okay, so in here we get some mounting hardware, some raw plugs and screws. There is a 3M adhesive circle and also a metal backplate. Now from what I can recall, yeah, it's magnetic. So there's not actually any fixings on the base of the camera itself, that's magnetic. All there is on there is some rubber feet to stop it from kind of skating around. So what you would do is with your template, match up the two holes, screw that into a wall or wherever you want it to go, and then you can use that as your mounting place. Now there's a lot of flexibility actually in the mount on the camera itself, so you can actually mount it completely vertically, well almost completely vertically. It's probably about 90, well it's very, very flat. It's not entirely flat, which is probably good because it's got a fisheye lens, so you'd want to have in slightly downward action anyway, just so you can get the footage. But again, if you had it mounted, you can choose the angle you wanted to, and also you've got some rotation on there as well. So depending how it's mounted, you could have it face pretty much wherever you want. So there's really, really flexible mounting. There is actually a screw in the back as well, so if the tension becomes loose, you can actually tighten that up a little bit to give it slightly more tension. But saying that, the camera itself and the hardware that is here, there's virtually no weight to it at all anyway, so I can't imagine that being much of a problem in that, that ball joint. Anyway, so that is the mounting options, and actually that's on there pretty well. So it's nice to see actually the plug is a white molded plug with a USB type connection. So effectively, because this is using a micro USB type connection, if you've already got wiring in place, like for me for instance with my Xiaomi cameras and also my Nui cams, which all work on the micro USB standard where I've got cabling already, this is pretty much going to be plug and play. I can just disconnect one and reconnect another, which in fact is what I have actually already done with this device. I've had a swap between my Xiaomi, my Nui and the Imou camera all in the living room, and I've recorded some footage, and I can tell you actually this, considering its low price point, is actually a fantastic piece of kit. And one thing that is really nice is the fact that it isn't motorized and it doesn't do tracking. Because it's got a nice wide angle lens, it actually manages to cover pretty much the whole room anyway from where it's mounted. And I was getting comments from friends and family when they come around to visit, that kind of thing, the camera tracking them as they move around. Some of them find it slightly disconcerting, and I get it, I really do. It's not always nice if you go somewhere and you've got cameras following you around. So when you're supposed to be relaxing in somebody's house, I can appreciate that that is possibly not the greatest of feelings. So with this actually being a static camera and really not standing out too badly at all, I could put this where the Xiaomi camera and the Nui camera were, and no complaints whatsoever. Nobody actually even noticed that it had changed or even that it was there. So that is definitely a plus point in my book. So let's look at the camera again itself. So on the side we've got the micro SD slot, so nice and easy to access. Moving around to the rear, there is a speaker grill and also a QR code. And there is, underneath that is the reset button. So the reset button can be used in multiple ways. So you can press it in once to do just a reset, like a soft reset, or press and hold it for a longer time until you hear a notification, and that will do a full factory reset. So again, that's nice and simple and also quite handy, especially if you've got mounted somewhere and it's not easy to access, then just pressing and holding a button, which is relatively easy to find, is going to be quite beneficial. You can also do the resets in the app as well, but obviously if the app's not working properly, then you will need to do it manually from the back. It's actually talking about the speaker on the back. The speaker on the back and the two-way communication was actually really good. Me and Kath had a conversation through the app and actually worked out really well. I could hear perfectly. The sound quality was very good. There was a little bit of an echo, but I think that's possibly more so because I was using the device in the home where the speaker was, and that's that kind of feedback loop kind of thing. But in general, actually, yeah, very good sound quality, better than some of the other ones we've tested previously. So that was very, very nice. The QR code on the back is one of my slight concerns. The QR code is actually very, very small, and depending where you're mounting this, I actually mounted it in the corner of my living room, which is a relatively darkish area, and even during daylight with sunlight coming in, the actual QR code wasn't very well illuminated, and it did actually struggle to read it from my Xiaomi Mi A2 camera, which actually the camera on that is pretty good. So I don't think it was the camera, I think it's just the fact that the QR code is actually so small. Maybe that's something they could address in future models. Okay, so let's get this thing plugged in and we'll have a look and see what the footage is like. So actually, first thing I noticed, I just unbundled the cable, and that is actually quite a long cable that comes straight out of the box. So that's just over 2 meters, I think, which is a decent sized cable. It's nice to see that. On some cameras you do get these tiny little cables, which isn't very good. So if you're mounting this slightly higher up or away from a wall socket, you have got at least 2 meters worth of length there to make use of. So plugging the camera in is really super simple. I've already put the micro SD card in, which I've used. You can use micro SD cards anywhere from 8 gigs upwards. I think 128 was the maximum that it would actually read. They do recommend in the manual up to 64, but we put a bigger one in there, it wasn't any problem. There will be firmware updates to this on a relatively regular basis as well, which I don't know whether that will make any difference for the hardware level, but certainly for the actual ability to recognize larger SD cards. So potentially larger cards will be used in the future. So plug in the micro USB. It's a relatively painless task, and there's quite a nice reassuring click when it fits in. And being that it's a white cable that's provided with it, actually fits in quite nicely and doesn't look too bad at all. So we'll take off the protective cover, and on the front of the lamp you can see there's a LED which gives you status notifications. At the very bottom you can just about see there's a very discreet little pinhole microphone, very similar to that what you'd get on a mobile phone. The LED on the top goes through different statuses, so green is when it's booting up or when it's actually live. There's a red, and you can actually turn the LED off in the app if you want to. So if you want it to be even more discreet than it is, you can do that. Also in this surrounding ring as well is the cluster of LEDs for the IR. So you've got red, infrared lights in there, so for night vision you can be seen nice and easily. But yeah, all round I think it's just a fantastic little camera. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put the camera down here and I'll fire up the app on the phone and we'll take some footage, and hopefully I'll be able to add it into the video when I'm editing. Okay, so let's take a look at some footage from this camera. So I've plugged it into the USB connection, which is really super simple, and it fits in with a nice reassuring click. So I'm going to put the camera just there, just keeping an eye on me, and hopefully that should be okay there. So I'm going to record this on the screen recorder app so you can see what's going on in the actual app itself as well. So if we go in the Imou app, now the first thing you need to do, obviously download the Imou app, so you get it from the Play Store or from the iTunes or whatever they're going to be calling it soon. So you can get it from there. Download the app, register your username and password, all that kind of usual stuff. Wait for the confirmation email to come through. Click on accept or activate or whatever it is, I can't remember, and you're all up and running. Then you can go into the app, and you can actually share the app with others as well, so you can log in on multiple devices, that's not a problem. So you can share cameras, all that kind of stuff. To add a camera, you click on the plus in the top corner, and it just asks you to scan the QR code, as I mentioned before about the QR code. So you just scan it on the back of the device, and then it makes like a high-pitched data noise at the phone, well, between the phone and the device, and it sets everything up. It's very, very simple indeed. You can also do it by serial number, so there's a serial number actually on the box, you can do it from that as well, and the serial number is also on the unit as well, so you can do it from there if you need to. So that's the serial number added in, and how to add a camera. You can actually add multiple cameras to the system, so as you go into the home screen you'll go down, you can scroll through, and other cameras, if available, will be accessible there as well. As with previous cameras we've reviewed on the channel, on the main screen you get a kind of snapshot of the camera so you know roughly where it is. It's not a live feed until you click on the play button, which we will do now. If I click on play, and there we go, you can see it is me, Mike's Unboxing. Hi, how you doing? Actually, looking at it, that's actually very good. There's very, very little delay there, and the bit rate actually is very good as well. You're looking at the moment about 130 kilobits per second, which is very good. That's HD. So if we click on the button, that's SD, that'll take it down to about 70 from what I can remember previously. So yeah, there we are, we're in our 70s now. So if you want the camera to be in standard definition rather than high definition, you can do, to save space, recording time, all that kind of stuff. So let's switch that back to HD just for the purposes of this video. So you've got options here on the actual camera itself. So snapshot, so take a snapshot. So probably missed that altogether, but there you go. Anyway, so you can take a snapshot. That's all nice and easy. You can do speak as well, so if you want to have a two-way conversation, you can click on the speak button. I won't do that now because there'll be horrendous feedback. But also you can record as well, so that will record actually to the device you're recording on. Although the camera is doing its own thing and it's doing its 24/7 recording, you can get it to do motion tracking and recording, or motion activated recording if you wish to, but I've set mine to do 24/7 recording, so it just keeps on a constant loop. But if you want to actually record something, maybe you're watching the camera and you're somewhere away from home, you can click on record and watch whatever's going on. So if I click on record now, this is actually going to start recording to my device, and when you go into your My Pictures or My Videos or wherever the default location is on your particular device, you'll be able to find the section of video recording. So there we go, that's that section of video recorded. Fantastic stuff. So also on here you've got the option for full screen, so if you click on that button that takes you into full screen mode, and you can probably see that as well. There's very little lag actually, so I'm quite impressed with that. If you rotate the screen, obviously it goes back. There's a mute button, so if I turn this up now, I will probably be able to hear what's going on. Hopefully. Yeah. So there's going to be some awful feedback there, so we won't turn the noise on just yet, or the voice on, or the audio, whichever it is. So there you get a pretty good idea of the quality. So if I move this around a little bit so you can get a better shot, you can see it's actually quite a wide angle, certainly a lot wider. Actually, there's probably a similar angle from there and what my camera is. It was there, which is about 4 foot away. So it's actually quite a decent angle. And obviously, again, you can mount it on a wall or wherever you want to, which is all good. Anyway, so let's take a look into, actually just one thing I noticed looking into the recording here. Currently you can see just about here, well, not on that screen, but on this screen you can see there is my softbox lamp there, which is like a 130 watt bulb in there. And against all the other lights that are going on here, actually the contrast in the picture is really, really good. You'd think that that would actually bleach out the rest of it, so I would either look extremely dark, but it seems to be handling the light balance very, very well, which is something actually I didn't notice before. So that's pretty good. I'm impressed with that. Right, let's go into some of the other settings in the setting cog. So you can obviously name the camera. I previously named this living room because it was in the living room. It gives you your firmware version. In features, you've also got other options such as the model, serial number, firmware, cloud storage, all that kind of stuff. You can go into the specific features, so talk, Wi-Fi, motion detection, noise detection, person detection, local record settings. So let's go into the local record settings for now. Oh no, that's just telling you what features are available. Those features are actually in this part of the menu, my mistake. So notifications, so you can have alarm notification, and if the device goes on offline, so say for instance your Wi-Fi goes down or someone deliberately turns off the camera, you can get a notification to your phone. So maybe if you've got teenage kids at home and they've come in with their mates late at night or whatever and you're away and they've come in and they've turned the camera off, you'll get a notification, so you can get on the phone and say, hey, what's going on? Turn that camera back on, we're trying to keep an eye on you. You get the general idea. That's the kind of thing it should be used for, or can be used for. The arm setting, so you've got motion detection, human detection. So like I said, if you've got human detection on, it only pushes a message towards you if there is a human actually gone through it. So that's pretty cool. You've also got detection sensitivity as well, which is quite handy. So say for instance you've set it to a certain region, or on the screen you're doing whatever, you can actually go in and adjust the sensitivity a little bit, which is really nice. Very few cameras actually have that these days. And you've got detection region settings, so now this is going to give me a grid, so you can go in and you can actually choose areas within that grid that the camera can see, so you can tell it to either ignore areas. So say for instance if there's a window in the back of the area that you're covering and there's people walking past it, for instance, you could just blank off that area so it doesn't get detracted by people walking past the window. But if anyone walks past on the inside where the wall is, then it would trigger the alarm. So that's all well and good. You can do all that, and you can change where you want it to be, clear it, invert it, or whatever. Very, very flexible in that respect. So that's the arm settings. Alarm sound settings, so you can alarm linkage. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I think you can set it so that there's another part of the Imou system which links up together. I haven't gone into that in much detail, to be honest with you. The abnormal sound alarm is quite good. So there's a decibel rating. So say for instance you've got a smoke alarm or some kind of O2, not CO2, you know, the bad gases. Basically, if you get any bad gases in your house, then it triggers an alarm. So you can set it so there's a certain decibel threshold, so that will trigger it, and then you'll get a notification to your phone and it will record what's going on as well. So again, that is quite handy. There you got your cloud storage, local storage status. So at the moment we're normal, there's no problems with the card, and as you can see, free space, there's plenty at the moment because we formatted the card, that's all good. Local storage settings, so you got it to record. The stream setting is, the default is high definition. Like I said before, you can change that to standard definition if you wish to. Just change that to standard and you're okay. General storage record. Device video will be continuously stored after enabled. So general record storage just basically means the loop, the 24/7 thing, or there is a recording schedule, so you can go in and actually set a recorded schedule. So if maybe you've got days off that you have which are relatively regular, like Saturdays and Sundays, and you don't really want the house being protected, or you don't want to be recorded at those times, then you can go in and choose the individual settings of what you want it, or when you don't want it to be recorded. Very, very flexible. Some people are quite paranoid, well, not so much paranoid, but just don't want to be recorded when they're home. So if you set it to your working day, so maybe like 9 till 5, Monday to Friday for recording, brilliant, no problem at all. And when you get home after 5, it's not going to be recording, so you can do what you like and say what you like without the fear of being recorded or watched or whatever it may be. Further on down, so microphone, you can turn the microphone on or off. So if you want some privacy, you can turn the microphone off. You can encrypt the data as well, which again, whether you choose to do that or not is entirely up to you. I've got it disabled, but you can do if you wish. Share device, so if you want to, you can add a user. So if there are either another user on Imou somewhere, or Imou rather, you can share, or you can add other people to the account, all that kind of stuff. You've got your network configuration, and if we go down to more, you've got the IR light settings, so you can turn the IR on or off, which is actually really good if you want to monitor something outside, but you don't want the IR light bouncing off a window or something like that. Then you can then use this as a night vision camera without kind of having that problem with the IR light bouncing off the glass, all that kind of stuff. So IR light setting is available straight away in there, which some cameras actually don't have these days. So cancel that. Also, you've got camera flip image. So if you've mounted it and you mounted it maybe on a ceiling upside down, you can flip the image 180 so that the footage looks correct. Got time zone, date, format, reboot option is in there as we discussed previously. But yeah, all in all, it's there's a lot of configurable stuff in here. It really is. It's actually almost slightly overwhelming. Again, at the bottom you got delete as well. So if you've got your camera set up and it's like, oh God, I've made something wrong there completely, you can just delete it and start again, add the camera again. No problems at all. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up all the features of this. For a £20 camera, it does contain a heck of a lot of features. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think pretty much every one of the kind of the wish list of features that I'd want on a security camera are pretty much in there. The pan and tilt, that for some may be a deal breaker if you've got a particularly long room or an area you're trying to cover. But with that wide angle lens, in a certain position, if you get it into the corner of a room, I could quite easily put it behind me in that corner and it would cover this entire room very easily. The door entrance, the window, the computers, everything. So again, it's I think it's very flexible and it looks nice and it's a great price. So I'm waffling on for far too long. If you've got any comments or questions about this device, please let me know in the comments section below, or better still, head over to the manufacturer's website. Again, I'll put links for that in the description. I'll also put links to these for the original Amazon link. I think the VPON deal may be off at the moment. I did look to get another one of the cameras to add to the group, so I'm not entirely sure. I will put the VPON links as well if they are available currently. If you're going to wait for the VPON deal to come around again, then obviously just bookmark them or keep an eye on them, or visit the video again and click on the links to see if they are available. So there we go. There has been the Imou Q2 security camera. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.